Okay, Jesus.
Yeah.
Talking to the mic.
Mic check, mic check.
All right, mic check's working. And oops, let's see. Did he show you what we have to push? There we go. There's the man. So just monitor. All right, we got the back-to-back world champion, the Sheffield champion, super heavyweight champion of the world, Jesus Olivares in the house. How are you feeling, Jesus?
I'm actually starting to feel pretty good. This is my third morning being here, or second morning. I don't know, trying to lose count, but I'm actually starting to feel pretty fresh today. So I'm actually very excited about this competition.
All right, so let's get right into this competition. You know, you've pretty much done everything there is to do in the sport at this point. You know, you've got the biggest total ever. What is continuing to motivate you coming into, what is this, your third world championships?
Yes, sir. This is my third worlds. I don't know. I guess it's just what I've been doing up until this time. It's just been like my way of life. You know, like training has become a significant part of my routine. You know, I really can't envision myself, even when I'm done competing, I'm like 99% positive, you know, as long as my body's able to, that I'm going to continue to train and, you know, just push. I feel like going into the gym without any like gust of motivation or goal, you know, to hit for the day, like it's really not meaningful at all. So, but I mean, at the same time, you know, I feel like I still haven't maxed out what I could do yet. And I think this week has provided a platform to have this question. You know, I've just really been pondering, like, you know, like what, maybe entity is the wrong word, but it's like, with what am I going to be moving weight out there with? Like, what is going to be the reason to my motivation, you know? And it's like for Sheffield, you know, it was just to go out there and show the world what I could do on a 9-for-9 day. And then I think for this meet, it would be like, okay, like now that I've managed to hit this like pinnacle, it's like, okay, like now there's different levels of success, you know, it's like how consistent can you be? So it's like now it's like going 9-for-9 or like maybe chipping in by a little bit, because obviously I think a big thing that people are wondering is like, how much are these world champions going to push the world record by because of the way they set up the platform, you know? So it's like, obviously, like people want to see big weight, you know, they're going to want to see me and Bonica just crush people out there, right? So it's like, we want to give the people a show, but at the same time, you know, it's like we want to hit our standard, but we don't want to set ourselves up battling bad positions for Sheffield. So it's like, it's just a bunch of questions and just wondering like how hard we should go, like, you know, just little inconveniences, but I'm feeling good.
So yeah, I mean, and also there's some concerns of just like, you don't want to push your body too far, right? Because this is your second comp in a pretty short turnaround. Or how are you feeling physically? I'm
feeling great. So after Sheffield, I took a pretty considerable amount of time off. Not like I didn't stop training, but just as far as like being mentally engaged, I took a break. You know, I traveled. You know, I went to Myrtle Beach. I went to go watch World's Strongest Man. I traveled to support some of my flex athletes at collegiates. You know, I was in the stands. My brother was having to do the handling for me. Went to go see family. So I took maybe like 3 to 4 weeks off right after Sheffield, because that's what happened last year going into Worlds. You know, I had a big performance at PA Nationals, pushed way too hard going into Worlds, tweaked something, and then so this is just part of the journey where you learn from your past mistakes. So I think I did a really good job. And plus, my confidence after Sheffield, I just felt like my baseline coming out of that was like, okay, as long as I don't just stop training and as long as I hit like a certain percent, certain RPE, like it's going to relatively stay similar. So I just knew that as long as I stayed around a certain level, you know, in the gym, that I could kind of like lock in 4 weeks out and then have like a decent peak going into the meet.
Yeah, and you're a coach as well, so maybe you can talk about a little bit. Sometimes it's better to do a little bit less going into a competition, let your body be a little bit more recovered, and you might surprise yourself that you're going to feel really strong on the day.
I'm hoping so.
All right. So, you know, you're not really facing any direct head-to-head competition. There's other great competitors in the super heavyweights, but you're so far ahead that it's not really a secret in terms of your numbers. So can you give us any kind of insight, like what kind of numbers you're targeting? Like, what do you think about squatting?
I think for this competition, and like I was saying, like coming into this competition, like for Sheffield, for example, like I was driven by numbers in terms of I wanted to be the first man to ever go 1,069. But for Worlds, I think, and it didn't really enter my head or just the idea of going for the record, the squat record. But I think somebody mentioned that Matt Gary said like, oh no, Jesus is 100% going to go for the squat record. And then I thought about it and I was like, you know what? I'll go for the squat record. So I think that'll be like our one lift that we're going to try to push this meet. It's 8 kilos up from what I hit at Sheffield. I feel like squats are probably my strongest lift right now. Like they've been the most consistent just with like how these last 9 weeks have gone. So I'm feeling pretty confident, but what a lot of people don't understand is that Worlds, it is significantly different enough in like how they set it up to where it could alter like your attempts, because at Sheffield we had more time in between, so there was 12 lifters, right? So you had more rest time, whereas Worlds it's 8 lifter flights. So every single second, a minute, as soon as I'm done, like I'm gonna have to get a chair and just focus on my breathing, just try to make sure that I'm at as close to 100% for every attempt as possible. But I'm feeling pretty confident, like if we go for the squat record, even if it's a grind, like that'll be like the squat record. I'll already have the deadlift and total record. And then if we need to, we can just secure a 9-for-9 meet and, secure the Sheffield invite and secure the gold.
So the people want to know, obviously with the current Sheffield scoring system based off the world records, so you just mentioned that you're going to take a shot at the squat world record, but I assume that would be just to chip it, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. In terms of the total world record, I mean, you just at Sheffield blew that record up by, what was it, like 45 kilos?
42 and a half.
42 and a half kilos. So, you pushed it like way, way past. Are you planning on pushing the total record at this meet or keeping it like where it is this way for next year? You have a total that you can push by and compete with all the other athletes based off just breaking the world record percentage?
Yeah, so that's an excellent question. So if we go 9-for-9 and we hit the number, so in a dream scenario, I'll get the squat record and I'll PR my bench by 2.5. So by that point, that'll put me up 13.5 over subtotal what I hit at Sheffield, right? So then I would have to pull 10 kilos less just to chip my world record, right, by 0.5. So if we go 9-for-9, God willing, we'll end up with the squat world record, a 606 bench, and a 881 deadlift, right? And that'll be a 0.5 chip on the record. But I feel very confident that even though I pushed the record so high last year, I feel like I think around 6 months out is where I'm like gonna lock back in again, and I feel like I have some really grand goals for next year, where it's like I feel like with my potential I can just add another 40 to 50 kilos, no problem.
Yeah, so we mentioned earlier that like you're in one of the weight classes where obviously there are other competitors, but realistically it's one of the few weight classes where you can win on openers. So you're not battling another individual head-to-head. So with that being said, like you said you have big goals. Like what specific goals, not necessarily for this meet, because just in general for the future, unless some competitor like shows up out of nowhere, like what goals do you have that like you want to stamp your mark on?
So, and like obviously like these are gonna like there's no way for me to say for sure if I'll even be able to hit these or say like as an exact date, but I would like the opportunity to go for like a 500 kilo squat and a 1200 kilo total. Like these are things that people on the other side of powerlifting, like they put their lives on the line for, and for me to have this God-given ability and gift to even contemplate it, like it's like obviously like there's two different mindsets, right? When you have the mindset of the competitor, of the athlete, like it's like no, like you work for it, but when you take a seat back as a fan of the sport and just a fan of strength sports, you're like, holy crap, like these numbers are insane. So it's like yeah, to say the least. So it's like I feel like I can't set that bar any lower. I feel like that's something well within my potential. I just turned 25 a week ago, so I got a long road ahead of me.
Happy birthday, by the way.
I appreciate it, guys.
Wow. So those are some insane goals. 1200 said 1182.5 is the current raw with wraps record for untested. So in the future, you'd like to smash that as well.
That I will say I am 100% going to go for at Sheffield at the least. I don't care how that meet's going. Like if I'm in position to get that, I'm gonna send it. I don't give a damn. I'm getting it. I have my personal reasons for that, but that's all I'll say.
So you mentioned earlier that after Sheffield, you took a little break. You went to Myrtle Beach. You watched World's Strongest Man. How does that feel as the person who, by all accounts, is the world's strongest man?
That's a really good question because, and I don't mean to say this in any disrespect to like any of the strongman guys, but it's like I'm drug free, you know, and I think a lot of my colleagues can agree. Like there's just a different level when you're doing what we're doing, drug tested, drug free, and then it doesn't take away from what they're doing, but I do believe that it kind of sullies our accomplishments a little bit because the majority of the population isn't really aware of the differences. They just look at numbers and lives and they're like, oh, yeah. But then like when you look at somebody like Bonica or myself or on the USAPL side of things or like John, like just these are probably the most impressive human beings on the planet because the numbers that we're doing and how we're doing it, it's like it's hard to quantify and explain to people. Like we're literally like, I'll be generous and say like each of these people are like 1 in 1 million, you know, at the very least, because there's still so many people out there who have the potential to be at this level, but they don't have like the tangibles and the intangibles to even be here, you know. So it's like for me to be in my position, you know, like a lot of people have been wanting me to switch over to strongman, but I just don't see myself being able to, because the minute I switch over, like obviously like with drug tested, it's like you can be like, okay, I get drug tested yearly, I have to report my whereabouts. Like there's certain parameters set in place that it's like even if I was to hypothetically be cheating, I can't cheat forever, right? So it's like I'm literally setting myself up for failure. Like if I'm lying to you guys right now and I'm a liar, like 10 years down the road, there's going to be a slip up and my entire legacy, my entire career is just going to go up in smoke. I'm a phony. And that's not what I'm about. You know, if anybody who knows me personally, like you guys know that I'm really big on morals, you know, I'm really big on honor and integrity. So I don't know, man, it's kind of, I feel like there is more opportunities in strongman, but I think with the cast of athletes that we have right now and just where strong powerlifting is headed, you know, we just got news that we're going to be in the World Games, you know, like I think we have a possibility to even make powerlifting more, attractive than strongman, you know. I feel like maybe down the line, you know, and that's what it takes. It takes athletes like myself deciding to be aware and honest of the differences and digging my feet in the heels and be like, you know what, like I want to make a pathway for athletes coming behind me that, okay, like no, there is a way to make it in life with powerlifting, and it takes actions like this, you know. So I don't know, it's like just a question where you can just go in so many directions, but that's just kind of what's been on my mind lately.
So you said earlier how like you feel like you still have just so much room to grow. Like you're young, you're new. Do you plan on sticking around the sport like for the long run? Like there's some lifters who are like, okay, I'm going to do it for a few years. I'll try to win a championship, maybe a couple, whatever it is, and then I'll move on. For you, is this something that you plan on being for the foreseeable future?
Yes, I can see myself. Well, excuse me. I think at the very least, you know, I need to try to eclipse Ray's world record. I think he's at 5 right now, right? So I think at the very least, after this week, if it goes successful, another 3 more. Because by then I'll be 28, and maybe my priorities in life are a little different. You know, maybe I have some kids running around, and I have like a business to attend. So maybe not as much free time as I have now. So I'm definitely aware of that timer, and I'm trying to maximize it to the best of my potential.
So you just mentioned about hearing the news about the World Games. So you've already won multiple World Championships. You killed it at Sheffield, which I would say was probably the most viewed powerlifting meet of all time. But the World Games, that's like a different level. I mean, athletes from all around the world not every sport, but plenty of sports are there. It's at I believe, is it at a stadium? It's at a stadium. I just saw videos from like the opening ceremonies from the previous one, and it was crazy. To you, like, what does that mean? Like being able to like have an opportunity to represent the U.S. at the World Games.
I mean, if I'm being honest, I haven't really had the time to like properly process it. Like we barely saw yesterday, but I can tell you what it meant to represent my country the first time last year, because unfortunately, like my first Worlds, it was on the USVI, but it was just such a inexplicable sensation, like hearing the national anthem play, and it was just like, I just remember like writing my post Monday, like my last heavy training session. It's like, like I'm gonna do everything I can to make sure that everybody in the crowd, like the national anthem that they're listening to, is gonna be the United States of America. So, but I mean, like I'll try to keep it short, but I'll just give a quick overview. It's like, so I'm a first generation Mexican American. Like my grandfather decided to move here to give us a better opportunity. And if they could just know like where their grandson has been because of their decision, like they believed enough in the American dream, and I think I can proudly say that I've been embodying that. Maybe not exactly to what they were expecting, but I feel like I can say I've exceeded some of their expectations. But it means a lot. It means a lot. Like my family, the Olivares family, has been in the U.S. for maybe a little over 60 years. So for me to be here and have the same last name as some of my dearest family members, it's like it's very hard to put into words, but it's nice.
It's amazing, man. You're a huge inspiration to everyone. You're pushing the sport forward. You just said so many heartwarming things already in this press conference. The thought of little Jesus is running around, and by the time you're 28, the future will be so bright. I just wanted to talk a little bit more. I was in the room when you squatted 992 in Austin, Texas, and the place went crazy. And everyone kind of, at that point, I think, saw the future, the potential that you had. Did you think, that we would be fast forwarding just a little more than a year later, and you've already now squatted 1,000 pounds twice in competition? And how many times have you squatted 1,000 pounds, like even just in the gym?
In the gym total, I think I'm at either 5 or 6.
So that's a pretty big deal, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, how does it feel to like go into a competition now thinking you're going to squat 1,000 pounds on your second attempt?
Yeah, it feels like business.
And did you hit 1,000-pound double?
No, not yet.
What was your highest double? Was it
the heaviest double that I did was 2 weeks out, and it was 960 for 2.
960. So at some point, I think you're going to be doubling 1,000 pounds.
But I think I'd have to chip it. I'd have to go 1,005 for 2.
1,005 for 2.
Yeah.
That's amazing. All right, Jesus. The last one was just, like you just mentioned, you're representing your family, you're representing your country. This is your 3rd World Championships. You also, were on the biggest stage of all time in powerlifting at Sheffield. What does it mean to you? How are you different now? And how is your mindset different approaching this World Championships as a savvy veteran now, as opposed to just like the bright-eyed kid that was trying to get your first World Championships?
I mean, I think to answer that question in all full sincerity, like I'd have to give my girlfriend a lot of credit for that. She's been with me at every single international trip, every single competition, and she's like my security blanket. Like now whenever I travel somewhere, it's like I don't have to worry about anything. Like time zones, like we know exactly like how many days out we need to be here, like we know exactly like meal scheduling, like hydration. Like she's literally reminds me to do all of that. Like she's the one who puts like my gallon at my nightstand. So it's like, I don't know. It's like I feel like I can't answer that question without giving her at least like that part of the credit. It's 75%, but it's more. I just get 25. But I don't know, man. I feel very experienced. Like I was an athlete before powerlifting. Like I used to travel a lot, like track and field in college. Like I remember my first big like cross country trip, went to New York. I'm a small Texas kid that was like my first time ever really going anywhere far. So like now, so it's like it's all about if I can give anybody advice, it's about finding a routine. Like you don't want to go somewhere like here, especially in Malta, where it's like there's literally distractions anywhere. Like you don't want to find yourself enveloped in that. You just want to like okay, like food, water, groceries. Like you want to walk around a little bit because it's obviously good for blood flow, but like you want to stay distraction free. And I think like I've definitely set myself up to be in a position like that. So, but I mean, like that's just things you pick up over time. Like I remember like my first Worlds. Like I was just so excited to see everybody that maybe I stayed in the lobby to talk too long when I should have been drinking water or going to my room to rest. But it's like now, like I know like okay, like if somebody wants to take a picture, like we make it quick, and then okay, like I gotta compete in a couple of days, so like I want to give like the fans and everybody like my time, like I love talking to people, but it's like at the same time, but that's just one of those things, you pick up experience as you go, and then you just find what works for you.
All right, man. Well, on that note, we'll keep you distraction free, get you out of here, get you on your way. Just want to say that again, you're a huge inspiration for everyone. You mentioned before about pushing powerlifting, beyond where strongman is, and I think just with superstars like you, the future is really bright for powerlifting. So thank you for everything that you do.
I appreciate it, Paul.
Yep.
Good job, man. Thank you, man.
That was awesome. All right, we got the queen of the goats, Bonica Brown, 11-time world champion. There's a lot of people out there that are goats in the sport, goats in different weight classes and stuff, but how does it feel to be the queen of all of them?
I can't deny that per Eddie Cohn, because Eddie will be upset with me if I don't accept that title. I still say I'm not there yet because there's lots of things on goals that I have and want to go after. But him, Brett Carter, and other people, they have to put it in perspective to me and like, look at all of it you've accomplished. So, yeah.
Yeah, so speaking of all that you've accomplished, you're just coming off of one of your best performances ever at Sheffield.
Yes.
Going 9 for 9. One of the few people at Sheffield that went 9 for 9 and, broke world records, broke your own world records. What was it about that competition that you think, you just put it all together and have a perfect day?
Well, it was training and focusing on getting training in and listening to my body throughout the whole cycle and having time off. Honestly, one of the big factors is not having to juggle equip lifting. And that's something that a lot of lifters don't understand. Like tackling raw and equipped at the same time is really hard and hard on the body. And then... Well, it's really nice to have like a break from work too, because I have a mentally stressful job. Well, it's not that stressful, but it is stressful in a way. So just having a lot of the factors that I have at home not follow me while I travel. But it was just getting that training in and not equipped for a change was probably the biggest success, honestly.
Well, that's a topic that a lot of people want to know. I mean, what are your plans with equipped lifting?
Well, obviously, I want to go for the World Games again and, get what's supposed to, repeat. I don't even know how to word that, because it is a sensitive topic.
It's not this is a safe space. You can say whatever is on your mind, Bonica.
Obviously, I want to go for World Games equipped. That's what I want to do. So I think because of it being so hard, like, I just want to take a break of it and then focus on raw, because the raw is a carryover to the equipped, and just get stronger, more muscle mass, and then I'll be able to even push up more weight when going equipped.
Well, with the World Games also having raw powerlifting in it in the next World Games, would you try to do both in the same competition, or you just want to do equipped to erase that bad taste that you had from the last one?
Honestly, I just want to do equipped, but it depends on the schedule. If there's opportunity and there's a way I could do both, it's a possibility, but equipped takes priority in my eyes.
And why is that? Why do you think that is? Because this will
going
be
equipped in 2017 and going back for revenge after what happened to me in 2022.
So it's the revenge arc.
So just want to stick with the equipped route.
And going back to the Sheffield performance, where do you think at Sheffield that you would have more left in the tank? Which lifts do you think that you will be able to improve upon in such a short amount of time from Sheffield till now?
Well, one of the things that happened to me is I had an injury and I couldn't bench for 4 months. And so I was only able to start benching again at the beginning of January. So what I did at Sheffield, that was a post-injury. And so going from basically nothing to what I did at Sheffield, I'm very proud of my body. Yeah, there was kilos missing, but there was a point I was praying that I could do more than 120, kilos, because I was recovering and finally able to bench again, and I was stuck and training, like, I just had to be patient with the body to have it heal. And I did what I could. So I wish I had more kilos from the bench. But deadlift, I go with the flow. Squat, sorry, coach, I had more in me and we didn't know it.
Yeah. Okay, so you think there's a couple kilos maybe on squat and definitely on bench. How has bench training been going?
Oh, it's great. Now, like I said, I've been pain free since January. Yeah, and so that's one thing that I'll finally fess up, because you know how people are on social media, they like to try to get sympathy and like, oh, I got an injury, blah, 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 blah. Well, I don't do that crap. I don't want the sympathy. I don't want it from people. I don't want people knowing my business. I just post. I know. I'm selective what I post.
You're old school in that way.
Yes, I am. I'm very old school.
You keep your cards very close to the vest.
Yes. There's little birdies everywhere, even at my own gym, man. Yeah. I watch out when I train.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that a little bit. What do you think? What advantage do you think that gives you to kind of keep it under wraps? Keep some of your training under wraps.
That's how it should be. Do the coaches at football games just stare at each other's playbooks before the game? Like, hey, we're gonna do 220 on this play. We're gonna do kickback, whatever, 410. I don't know the names of plays. I'm struggling to remember and think of any.
That was a good try.
I don't know. I don't remember. I did play football one year, but I was defense, so I didn't have to do any offense plays. But it's just like, do they tell who's going to do what on which play? No. So why am I going to share my deck of cards and share my plays? I'm not going to do that. No.
I like that. You put it on the platform.
Yes,
right?
That's where the show should be. Why? So that's the other thing. Like, everybody likes to post everything and show their best everything on the socials. But when you get to the show, they're like, they've done that in the gym. They've already done that. That's not as exciting anymore. You want that excitement on the platform. You want to show what you can do there, not, predisposed already on the socials. What fun is that? You want to shock them. You want that awe factor. It's lost when you show it.
And talking about, showing and not showing, are you injury free now?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm solid. Yeah.
So you're feeling good?
And I've been here since Monday, which has been nice to be able to sleep in and rest and lay on a bed of pillows and like the mental stress of not working and just eat and hydrate. It's been great. So I've been enjoying it.
Yeah. So the people want to know. So I believe you're going for your 8th Raw World Championship?
I don't count. We couldn't 20. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Okay.
I had to think about
So
that. Sure.
Right. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't remember the earlier ones, but at least in a lot of the recent ones, you came in like as a heavy favorite and you were able to win quite comfortably in most of them. This World Championships, while you're coming off the biggest total you've ever had and the biggest total that has ever been done, there are other lifters who are like getting hyped up. Like there's one lifter, notably Sona. I'm sure you at least know who that is. So how does it feel like to have somebody else that's like hyped up and like people expecting a battle as opposed to like you coming in and just putting some heavy weights, but like really competing against yourself? Like we were just discussing previously with Jesus, how in a way, and actually we did this with Amanda yesterday also, it's a little bit difficult. Like when you're the strongest person like in your weight class ever, and there's nobody like even relatively close. So it's like you don't have like somebody directly to battle. So how, first off, is your mentality in terms of in the past, like when you were really battling against yourself? And is it at all any different now that there's somebody else who people think is on the come up and will put up a real battle?
It's just show it all on the platform. Like everybody, it's just like when it comes to, it's all the 9 minutes on the platform. That's what it comes down to. But you also just don't know what happens in the background, why calls were made or what's happening a day of, how you feel, how training was going. And so there's lots of factors that go into it. But anytime it's competition, like, let's go. Bring it on the platform. I'm ready. I'm not done yet. I know people want me gone because everybody always wants somebody sparkly and new. And it's like, I'm here to defend. That's what I'm doing. That's my job. And I'm going for it.
Just to follow up on that, are you more fired up now than ever? Do you want to have a competitor that can actually, get into the same ballpark as you? Because you haven't had that until now.
I don't know. I'm focused on me. And try not to focus on others or anything. I focus on me and what I can do, honestly.
Yeah, have you felt any additional motivation in this prep between Sheffield and now?
I guess I have. Like, I've been told of like posts that she's done and whatnot. And I know it's just to poke the bear, and I'm just like, whatever. And I think it's funny how I post something, and I was like, oh, you post similar wording of what I posted or similar wording stories. I'm like, I ain't stupid. I caught that. So you're just mocking what I do and mocking what I post. So
yeah, you're fired up.
It was like, whatever, bring it. There. I just focus on me, It's just like, you can't focus on everybody.
So we have to ask the same question that we've asked previously, which is, so with the Sheffield scoring systems, right, which is based off world records, so if you break the world records here, it just makes it harder in the future. Do you plan on breaking world records, or are you just like happy, just play for the win? Like, is that your full goal, play for the win?
It's a numbers game. Championship is more important. That's what you go for.
So if you have to break records to win, you do it. If not, you take what.
Exactly.
Okay. I mean, so yeah, you shattered the world record squat at Sheffield. 280. It was.
Yeah, I was very proud of myself.
You had room. Like,
yes.
Are we gonna see that continue to get pushed?
Oh yeah, that's the goal.
What about?
I can't test in the powerlifting gods.
What about 300? I'm not saying this competition. Is that a number in your head that you're like, that would be something interesting to load on the platform?
Well, I never think kilos, honestly. I always think pounds of like what's cool in pounds. So like there's number goals in pounds, but yeah, it's numbers.
I mean, you're a veteran powerlifter. We speak kilos here.
But like my whole career wasn't always lifting in kilos. My gym, we didn't get to start using kilos till last year. I'm like Dennis Cornelius. We had to use pounds. A lot of these new and upcoming lifters are freaking spoiled. There's no other way. I'm blunt. Like, a lot of certain federation kids are brats and always posting their kilos and acting like it's always been around. And it's just like, you don't know what it's like to be raised on pounds and whatnot. I don't have the glorious equipment all the time, but like Brett, he is bringing in more and more equipment. That's a gym owner. But like people get to train on Leco racks. I'm like, cool. I don't care. I don't. But no, I just think of goals in pounds because we're Americans, and like talk to any other person, they don't know kilos. So,
So
I'm leaving you starstruck. You're like, I don't know what to say now.
yeah, no, I mean that's very valid. But I mean, you mentioned your gym, so just since you don't do a lot of posting, right? You don't want to be showing off like the game plan and stuff like that. Just in general, how's your like gym environment and what's that whole situation like?
I am like, so our gym is like a family, but then of course you got like not so much family, but oh well. But no, there's a lot of people there that are, I work my training around, so I'm around them to get my handoffs on bench, to get spotters on squats, because they are the puzzle pieces of why I am here. It's because of them being in my corner. And they are here with me now, even. I think of them. I think of them when I'm on the platform. I thought about them when I was squatting that 280 on the Sheffield platform. I was thinking of them and the Czech Republic crew. They're pretty cool, too. But it's the gym family environment. We're always helping each other. Even one of them let me borrow his truck so I can move pallets one day. Like, we help each other outside of the gym as well. And it's that community and camaraderie of being with each other. And it's all thanks to them. Like, the list is never ending of like Dalton and Kevin and Carter and Brett and, oh my gosh, Zach, there's 3 Zachs, lots of Zachs, and Madison and Brandon, and the list can go on and on of all these puzzle pieces. Lupe's the one who let me borrow his truck. Gotta give him that shout out. But it's all of them willing to be there to help me to succeed, to be an athlete, to be a champion. It's because of them. Also, it's my willingness to get out the door, too, because, I like my little dungeon apartment, I could be a house mouse easily. So it's my willpower to get out of the house, too. But it's because of them. They get me to the gym, too. Did I leave you speechless, darling?
So you talked about how like you approach each world championship like the same. You're gonna show out the package that you've built in the gym, and then you're just gonna put your best on the platform. No need for anyone to see it beforehand. They'll see it on game day. How does your just like mentality come in? Where like a lot of people, this is their first world championship, or maybe their second or third. Maybe they've won one, maybe they haven't. But for somebody who's so experienced, already has all the wins in Raw, all the wins in Equipped, has been competed on every single stage in powerlifting, championships, world games, Sheffield, everything. So just how's your mindset just coming into another world championships?
I don't think of the past too much, honestly. And I just think of it's another, like I'm going for the gold, going for the win. I shouldn't even say that. It's time to just put all the work on that platform. I don't think of the past. I think about the training I've done and focus on that cycle, those last sessions, and go for it. My mentality, like, just chill, another day in the gym. So when I'm doing warm-ups, that's what I tell my other friends when they're competing. It's another day in the gym. Treat it like you're in the gym, going up to every warm-up set, and going to that platform like you're going to your favorite squat rack. That's what I do. And then when I'm in the gym, it's actually reverse. I think it's like a competition to get psyched up to succeed in that training set. So it goes back and forth. So it's hard to answer that, honestly.
I mean, you answered it.
Yeah, I know, but it wasn't that great. I'm like, it's another day in the gym. It's just that's honestly what I always say. It's another day in the gym, and get psyched up and get that lift. And I got my family around me to get that lift.
So on a lighter note, you've been in Malta for a few days already. How's your stay been? Like, how have you been enjoying?
I'm great now. It was really hard with the time adjusted because it was 7-hour difference. But I feel great now. Like, I'm settled, and I'm glad I got here early. Like, it took me 27 hours to get here. And so, like, a lot of people just don't understand how hard it is to travel for all Americans, in my opinion. Like, it's just hard on everybody. And then just making sure you get the food and get the hydration and relax and just get into a little new homeostasis. And then go into that warm-up room and then to that platform. Yeah.
So you're known in the powerlifting community as being like a really bubbly person, a really nice person. How does your mentality change on game day?
Not.
Well, like I noticed at Sheffield, you were like dancing around on the platform and stuff after the lifts, but
That was different.
so tell us, how was it different?
Well, okay, so when competing, yes, I'm serious. Even in the gym, like people try to come like, yo, I'm trying to do a set. And like headphones in, I'm putting wrist wraps on. Why are you coming up to me right now? I have to do a mean face and like buzz off. Some people learned, but like, it's business bubbly. And so that's the thing. It's just like everybody thinks like you're one way 24/7. That's what I get judged on. And it's just like, well, yes, I am bubbly personality, but when it comes to being something serious, this is business mode. Now we're in business mode. We're serious and focused. And I can't be tra-la-la and like happy land. And so like squats, that's when I'm like mostly serious. Bench, I lighten up a little bit, but then deadlifts and it's just back to being serious. But the way I am going on and off the platform is just like, I don't do goofy stuff like to get psyched up to go up to a platform. Eddie Cohn, John Hack, and I, like, we're the same. We're like straight business, don't waste energy and focus, get up to that platform, do your thing, squat, boom, off. It's just save and conserve energy every possible way, aspect ever, like everywhere. But the Sheffield crowd, it was the most freaking amazing thing ever. The loudest, most into it crowd I've ever experienced. And I could still get goosebumps about it. Anytime anybody said anything to me at home, I'm like, the crowd. It was the crowd. And I felt the love and excitement and warmth from them just bashing up against me. And I couldn't help but turn to the crowd. I never done that in my career ever. But like I couldn't help but cheer to look at them. Yeah, going to the platform, business, they were there and I was zoned out. I still heard them like, going up to squat and bench and deadlift. But afterwards, I couldn't help but want to celebrate with them. Like that was the most freaking amazing thing ever. Like I loved it. That was hands down the best part about the Sheffield. I don't care what everybody else says. Is that crowd. It's that crowd that came to watch us. That's an honor. And they were coming from all over the place. And so that was over 2,000 people were there, 2,500 or something. Like, that's how many people came to watch us few athletes, and that's pretty bomb.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, and then I guess the last question would just be, what do you see as far as the future of Bonica Brown in the sport? How long do you want to keep going? How many titles do you want? What's I know you already mentioned that you want to get redemption on the World Games. But beyond that, what are you looking to do in the rest of your career?
To keep lifting as long as I can. This is a sport that you can do your whole entire life. And that's what I tell people often. So it's like, yeah, you're the star football player when you're in junior high and high school. Sweet, you get to go to college. Awesome, you got that contract, 4 years, blah, blah, blah. What's after that? Pray you get into the NFL? Okay, I hope you do. What happens if you don't? What are you going to do with your competitive spirit, your body, and your mind? What are you going to do? You've been so used to being an athlete for so many years of your life, and now you just stop. I did that, and life sucked. I didn't live for 5 years. All these people, they think I've only been around since 2013. So, okay, not all, majority. Think I've only been around since 2013, 2014? Sorry, look in the history books. I've been around since 2004. I was a kid lifter when I was a sub-junior going to Worlds and shit like that. Whoops, sorry. I've been around since 2004.
According to Open Powerlifting, it's 2003.
2003, I did like USAPL meet. My first USAPL meet was in Plainwell, Michigan, 2003 April. I think it was April 1st, April 2nd. And it's called the Dough Frills. It was in Plainwell. Yeah, that was my first USAPL meet.
Yeah, 2003.
But like nationals and whatnot, 2004. And Worlds. I was just talking about like strictly Worlds. 2004, I went to Women's Worlds and Sub-Junior Worlds. And it was in Cahors, France in June. And then it was South Africa in 2004 in September.
She knows her record book.
And I lifted back in the day where you can do 4 attempts. If you're doing a world record on your 4th attempt that you could set at nationals. Also lifted when there wasn't safeties on the bench. Also lifted when you could, there wasn't a pause command, and you had to make sure it had to be above your sternum. Your xiphoid process, so you couldn't belly bench. Like, yeah, I'm old school. Like, when Paul says old school, I'm old school. There's a lot old school. So, like, a lot of old lifters. And now I got me sidetracked off the question. What was the question? Oh, the future. Okay. So anyway, the point of that was I did stop lifting. I didn't lift for 5 years, and life sucked. And that was a different bubbly in those 5 years, but I wasn't lifting. I didn't lift. I didn't go into a gym. Actually, I don't even know who I told. I was telling somebody in those 5 years, I actually was working at a gym, and I didn't even lift. I was working at a gym and didn't even lift. Yeah, because I was doing school and I had another job and whatnot. And then one day I cried. I went to lunch at the gym and I cried, broke down in tears in the break room. And of all days, the manager, he never goes to the break room. He came in and caught me crying. And it was that day I got to start lifting again. He's like, we're extending your lunch and you're going to work out. And so that broke the 5 years of not lifting. And when I just started lifting again, I was like, I don't want to lose this ever again in my life. This sucks, not doing this. It brought back the fire. The fire was like probably a little dim little embers and coals. It was still there, but it was just like coals. But then lifting, it made the fire come back brighter and brighter. And I'm just not letting it go. And so I want to keep on lifting as long as I can. Who wouldn't want to be like Dave Ricks? Who wouldn't want to be like Tony Harris? Who wouldn't want to be like Kimberly Walford? Why stop lifting? It's part of your life. It's a lifestyle. And that's one of the things I've learned from Kim. It is a lifestyle. And I like this lifestyle, and I don't want to let it go. I shocked you, didn't I?
That was a great answer. But
that's true.
I have two questions. So
Okay.
one I was going to ask before, and then one has to do with the 5 years. Okay. So just for a lot of people who are watching this or just in the stands or whatever, haven't necessarily even been powerlifting for 5 years total. Mm-hmm. How did you go from being a winning national championships, competing at Worlds, stopping and taking 5 years off and getting back to that top level? How did you do that?
I met a guy, and that guy convinced me to stop lifting, basically, and not spend money to do it and whatnot. And then so I just lived life with him for 5 years, and then I just wanted to get back into lifting. And because of lifting, we're not together. And I've been single, ever since, and been doing fine, but that was why, going to school and being with a guy and work, tried to do the normal 9 to 5 thing. Whoopee.
So how long did it take you to get back to as strong as you were? Meaning 5 years is a long break.
So my last competition was February 2008, and I started lifting again February 2013. And I just started working out to work out, honestly. And so I was just doing superset stuff. I didn't do SBD really. I tinkered with it a few times, but I also had the mindset of my body is not what it was. Focus on the body now. Focus on what I have now and improve it. Make it better. Make it stronger slowly. Don't just jump right into it because I haven't done anything. And I was peer pressured. Word got around that I started lifting again, and one of the people that peer pressured me was Priscilla Rebick. And so if anybody wants to thank someone, it's her. She even offered to pay for my entry fee for my first competition to come back. And she helped me, get some equipment because obviously I wasn't the size like I was before. I told them I don't have anything to wear. She helped me get equipment. She, was helping me with guidance. There was other people too, like Katie Dodge and others, but Priscilla was the big push to help me get back into the sport.
So the other question I was wondering was, so you mentioned how unlike other sports like football or whatever, you do it for as long as you're able, and then you really just lose the ability at a certain point. There isn't really somewhere to compete. And powerlifting is a sport that there is no age gap. You can do it for however long you want to. And you brought up David Riggs. I was about to ask, do you plan on staying in the open? I mean, obviously, we got a while till then, but let's say in 15 years, whatever it is, 20 years, do you plan on staying in the open at just forever, or at a certain point would you transition to the Masters?
Whatever's cards I'm dealt. I want to stay in the open as long as I can, just like Kim and Dave. Just keep on going, keep moving forward. you know, just keep moving forward. That's what I look at. That's what I want to do.
All right, Bonica. Well, with that, we'll make that the last question, and we look forward to seeing you stay in the sport for as long as possible.
Yeah.
You've been a huge inspiration for everyone. We're extremely proud to have you with Powerlifting America, and can't wait to see you get your 12th World Championship in a few days.
All right, thank you. This was fun. Hopefully I didn't bore anybody.
Never. Never a boring moment with Bubbly. Thank you, Bonica.
All right, thank you.